A ship gets rated E on CII. The charterer cancels the fixture. The bank sends a notice of covenant breach. The vessel gets laid up at anchor, not because it broke down, not because of any accident, but because of a number on paper that the chief engineer had very little control over. This is already happening. And if you're sitting MEO Class 2 or Class 1, or if you're sailing as a junior officer right now, you need to understand exactly what CII is, how it works, and why every surveyor at MMD is asking about it. That is what this video covers. Let's start from the top. Shipping produces roughly 2.5% of global greenhouse gas emissions. The IMO, International Maritime Organization, has committed to net zero emissions by or around 2050. To get there, they published the revised IMO GHG Strategy in July 2023 at MEPC80. The targets are at least 20% reduction by 2030, striving for 30%, at least 70% reduction by 2040, striving for 80%, net zero by or around 2050. These targets are against a 2008 baseline. How does IMO actually enforce this? Through MARPOL Annex 6, Chapter 4. The three main tools are EEDI, EEXI, and CII. EEDI was for new ships being designed and built. EEXI was a one-time check for existing ships already in service. CII is the ongoing every-year operational report card for ships actually sailing right now. CII stands for Carbon Intensity Indicator. It measures how efficiently a ship is using its fuel relative to how much cargo it's moving and how far it's traveling. The exact metric used is called the AER, Annual Efficiency Ratio. The formula is total CO2 emitted in a year divided by DWT multiplied by distance in nautical miles. The unit is grams of CO2 per DWT nautical mile. The lower this number, the more efficient the ship. This is calculated once a year. The result is compared against a required CII value. And the ship gets a rating from A to E. A is the best, E is the worst. A means your ship is performing more than 10% better than the required level. B is moderate above required. C is within the required level. D is below required. E means more than 10% worse than required. This is not a static target. The required CII value tightens by 2% every year from 2023 to 2026. That means a ship that gets a C rating this year might get a D next year doing exactly the same thing, because the standard moved. The examiner wants to hear you say, the target tightens progressively, it is not a fixed number. Now what happens if your ship gets a bad rating? There is a specific trigger that examiners love to test. If a ship gets a D rating for 3 consecutive years, mandatory corrective action. If a ship gets an E rating in just 1 year, mandatory corrective action. What does mandatory corrective action mean? The company must update their SEEMP, Ship Energy Efficiency Management Plan, specifically Part 3, which covers CII management. This updated SEEMP must be approved by the Flag State Administration and verified by a recognized organization at the next annual survey. Write that clearly in your exam answer. D for 3 years, E for 1 year, SEEMP Part 3, Flag State Approval. Those specific words are worth individual marks. Now the commercial impact. This is where the exam question usually splits into 2 parts, and where most candidates lose marks. They write about the technical side of CII, but forget the commercial impact. First, charter rates. Charterers now check CII ratings before fixing a vessel. A or B rated ships get better rates, better cargo, and easier fixtures. D or E rated ships struggle to find work. Some charterers are putting CII clauses directly into charter parties. If the vessel's rating drops below C, the charterer can exit the contract. Second, bank covenants. Ship finance agreements, the loans used to buy ships, now include CII thresholds. If your vessel falls to an E rating, it can technically trigger a covenant breach with the lending bank. This creates what the industry calls a stranded asset, a ship that still floats but has become commercially and financially toxic. Third, insurance. P&I clubs and hull and machinery underwriters are factoring CII ratings into premium calculations. E-rated ships pay higher premiums. Fourth, port incentives. Ports in Europe, Singapore, and elsewhere now offer green shipping incentives, reduced port dues, priority berthing for highly rated ships. The reverse applies for D and E. Fifth, vessel valuation. Second-hand ship values now reflect CII trajectory. An E-rated vessel faces accelerated depreciation and early scrapping pressure. Now the shortcomings. The other favorite exam question. 1. Cargo gaming. AER uses DWT, which is the maximum carrying capacity. A ship sailing in ballast has high DWT but is carrying no cargo. This inflates the efficiency number artificially. 2. Port waiting time. A ship waiting at anchor burns fuel but covers 0 nautical miles. The CII crashes through no fault of the officers. 3. Weather routing. A ship deviating around a storm takes a longer route. The CII formula doesn't know it was a safety decision. It just sees worse numbers. 4. Charterer control. The charterer decides speed, loading, and routing. The chief engineer cannot override commercial orders, yet the ship's CII suffers. 5. No standardization across ship types. A tanker and a bulk carrier cannot be fairly compared. Industry bodies like BIMCO and Intercargo are pushing IMO to correct the formula. Finally, EEDI versus EEXI in one sentence each. EEDI is the Energy Efficiency Design Index, a technical design standard for new-built ships from 2013, with 4 phases requiring up to 30% improvement. EEXI is the Energy Efficiency Existing Ship Index, a one-time technical test for existing ships over 400 gross tons, mandatory from January 2023. If a ship failed EEXI, the fix was engine power limitation, a software cap on maximum shaft power. Both are recorded in the International Energy Efficiency Certificate. One sentence to remember: EEDI is design efficiency for new ships. EEXI is a one-time test for existing ships. CII is the ongoing operational report card. That's CII, EEXI, and EEDI explained, the way an examiner wants to hear it. If you want to practice the full 16-mark question on this topic with model answer and automatic mark scoring, the complete study widget is free at exam.sailthenetwork.com. Link is in the description. If this video helped you, subscribe. We cover every topic in the MEO syllabus the same way.